First two steps for headlight restoration, you want to clean the headlight. So I've just got some invisible glass here, and we're gonna use a microfiber towel, grime off it, which we have plenty of, and you got to tape around the headlight. Some of the things that we're going to talk about seem like they aren't going to work, and you just got to trust the process. We are going to be sanding these pretty heavily, but you have to tape around so that you don't sand the paint. So don't skimp on this. It just takes a couple minutes to get that tape on there. We're going to start step 3 is going to be with 800 grit sandpaper. We're just going to use a drill with a little attachment. This sticks on it. Some people will do the first sanding without it being wet, and then after that do all wet sanding. I kind of prefer to do wet sanding on all the stages. I just think it makes it a little easier to get the scratches out. Now, this is going to be a messy process, and that's okay. And this is about the point where you start doing this and you think, I'm just killing my headlight. But again, trust the process. A common question is, how do you know when you've sanded it enough with the 800 grit? You want the yellow to be gone. So a lot of times I'll just take a piece of the 800 wet, run it over, and we're not really seeing any yellow. This is what you would see if you still needed to sand more. So right now, this is looking pretty good. This is what you want it to look like when you're finished with your 800 grit. It's obviously going to still be cloudy because it's got some fine scratches from the 800 grit sandpaper, but it's not yellow anymore. It's white. The big scratches are gone. Now we're going to move up to the 1500 grit. Make sure you get the headlight and the sandpaper nice and wet. I like to do the edges and the corners by hand because it's just tough. Have the drill make great contact with these edges and the corners. And you'll find that when you go up to the 1500 grit, it's a lot easier to handle because it's not biting as hard. It's a smoother process. On the 800 grit, you kind of have to work to make sure the drill's not skipping all around on you and jumping up. I got a little sanding block that I'll use to work on some of the areas that aren't quite as smooth as I want them to be. A little foam sanding block. You can find these at your hardware store. All right, after using the 1500 grit, you want to give it a pretty good look over. And while it's still going to be cloudy, you want to try to identify any spots that aren't quite as smooth as others. And then just hit those a little bit more by hand with a sanding block. All right, we're going to move up to the 3000 grit. Again, wet sand, spray the headlight, spray the sandpaper. You'll notice I've been going in a horizontal pattern, which you want to stay consistent with that. Just makes the scratches easier to blend in. Again, the 3000 will go across real smooth and be a lot easier to control. The last sandy grit we're going to use is 5000, and same technique. Wet everything down and give it a good sanding. Last two steps, we're going to hit this with Meguiar's Ultimate Compound and then with Meguiar's Ultimate Polish to really bring the shine back to this. You can either use an attachment on the drill where you stick a pad on here, or you can use your polisher, which is what I'm going to start with. All right, after using the compound, we are getting somewhere. Of course, you want to rub the compound off, but we still have a couple more steps because it can actually look a little bit better. The next step is going to be the same process, but we're going to use the Meguiar's Polish, which is finer. It'll bring out even more shine and smoothness. All right, there's one final step that's super important because you've done all this work, and if you just leave it like it is right now and don't coat these headlights, they will oxidize again and start looking pretty bad in about 6 months. So you've got to put some UV protection on them, and I typically like to do some type of a ceramic clear coating. Lots of different ones that can work. I do have this kit from Cerakote, and I will say if your headlights are not awful, this can save you a lot of sanding and get a similar result. I don't think it would have gotten us anywhere near to where we got here with all the sanding. But I do like what's included in here, these handy ceramic clear coat wipes. There's a lot of different ceramic coats can work, but you got to put a ceramic coating that has UV protection. If you do that, you'll protect these lights looking great for years. And you may want to do the ceramic clear coating every year or two, which is super easy to do. But it'll keep them looking great. So the owner has named her car Helen. Let's just say we just did cataract surgery on Helen because she could barely see at all. Everything was so cloudy, and now her perfect sight has been restored, clear as can be. Not only does it look great, but it's just much safer because these headlights are actually going to shine on the road like they're supposed to. Just an amazing transformation.